5:49 p.m. and welcome you all to the February 5th SNA meeting. We'll start with attendance. John Bowen, here. JD Charest, here. Sarah Feeney,
Here.
Miles Glover,
Here.
Kate Kinnison,
Here.
Robert Lane,
Here.
Robert Mosier,
Here.
Josh Mutar,
Here.
Captain O'Neill.
Here.
Ashley Stubbs is going to be calling midway through our meeting. Dustin Waterford, Derek Whittam, Connie Williams, here. Jacob Whitman, I am present. All right, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the February 5th, 2014 agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second? Robert, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, agenda approved. We'll move to section 4, approval of the minutes from January 29th, 2014. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 29th, 2014. Rob?
So moved.
Is there a second? Josh? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, minutes approved. Move on to section 5, reports. I have nothing to report this week except for Go Seahawks. It's pretty fantastic of them. Other than that, nothing. And I don't have advisors here today, so they have nothing to report. So we'll move to section 6, public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? Rich?
So just to speak on behalf of the advisors, we did receive a public records request regarding information that any discussions at the university regarding the rugby program, and since we've been having presentations here, we did again just make sure that our minutes were submitted as part of the public record. So again, that's the conversation that we have about when we take notes or any of those types of things, that we have to remember to turn those in as we would have to submit those. So but again, just as a report, we did provide those minutes and those conversation pieces that we've had at our last meetings.
All right, thanks for that, Rich. Is there any further public comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to section 7, old business. And we have Manastash here to present their annual report, I believe, over here. Okay, yeah.
Joe Johnson from, I'm the instructor for Manastash last year, and I guess this year as well. I brought some copies of last year's. Pass those around. I hope I have them. If not, I have one old copy from 2007. Kathy Whitcomb is the program manager, and she asked me to come here. She wasn't able to come and talk about the production of the magazine and how it goes into that. Don't really work on the business side of things. I just work more on the classroom side. The edition you have there is last year's edition, and I have a 2007 edition, so at least to get a sense of some of the growth that we've had here. But the Manastash is a journal that, in a report Kathy wrote for over 40 years, it's existed in a kind of journal fixed form. We're working on volume 24 this year. So for the first 16 years, it was kind of dittos and handouts, and so it's our approximation. What it is we are open for submissions for all students at Central Washington University, graduate and undergraduate, and here at Ellensburg and at the Extension campuses as well. Several of our submissions last year came from satellite Westside campuses, and we had a few stories, including one author or one poet, Alexander Hughes, who we all fell in love with, and none of us could ever find it. But I think 4 of his poems made it into the publication. His mom wrote to us. So Manastash is designed to be a kind of a showcase for student literary efforts, primarily in poetry. Last year we did a promotion, or kind of a push more to include visual arts as well. And we have an 8-page color center spread that we added last year, which I think is the first time we've ever done, and intend to do that as well this year. I think about 25% of our submissions for this current edition are actually visual arts. And we made an appeal to the art department to include stuff and talk with Glenn fought in the design department to try and encourage design students to also submit to this. I don't know if there's anything from the report that you want to address specifically.
Did you guys see the annual report? It has the budget information. I'm curious, what's the other fund receipt? What's the source of that?
You know, honestly, I don't have any access to it. I don't have any access to the numbers on this. I'm just
Okay.
the instructor, but I don't know if I need any help with expenditures or, I don't know if there's a tuition aspect to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you not get donations?
Honestly, I don't
Yeah.
have any knowledge on the funding side of things.
I think we could probably ask Sharon about
Ask
this.
Sharon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think, if I recall, they do get some donations. That might
That's probably what it is then. Does the board have any questions about the Manastash program? Connie?
Just one more, this is lovely. How do you distribute this? Who do you distribute it to?
The distribution is not where I'd love it to be. But what we've done in the past is it's been handed out on Parents' Day. In previous years, it had actually been handed out in the bookstore. I don't think it went out the last few years in the bookstore. English department in some areas on campus, and then the dean, Marky Morgan, hands them out to prospective students and to visiting families. I think we print, I want to say 2,000 copies a year, and we usually are left with about 150 at the end of the year. Yes. Oh, I'm
So why do you not distribute in the bookstore anymore?
sorry.
Because they're free.
Yeah, they are. I honestly, I'm really limited
That's
to.
okay.
Yeah,
No, that's
to,
fine, yeah.
to the
Yeah,
course
no
instruction.
problem, not a problem. You might just mention it to the next college, and that'd be great for us to distribute.
Yeah. I've mentioned it a few times, and so I'm hoping that we'll see better distribution because I think the work needs to be seen better.
Okay. Any further questions from the board?
I have a question.
Okay.
Do we display this at Source or any other?
Last year we had, I know at least last year we had a source panel. I think we had about 20 people in attendance, including authors that were reading from their work, and we were able to distribute it at Source. We were fortunate last year with calendar work that we had it by Source. This year it's going to be pretty tight. We may not get the publication back until that week after Source.
Any further questions? All right, cool. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. 1 second, guys. Ashley's going to call us, so we'll be back for a minute, I guess. Is that okay?
No.
Is that Heinrich?
You're the one leading the meeting.
There was, I think, a phone button.
This one? Yeah. Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Jacob.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. You haven't missed much. Just the presentation from Manastash, and we're going to move on to supplemental funding requests. So you're actually just in time.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that report from Manastash. With that done, we'll move on to Section 8, supplemental funding requests. We do have 3 requests today. We'll start with request number 1408, National College Media Convention. From the Observer is requesting $2,197. And we're going to give you 10 minutes. We'll give you till 6:05.
So my name is Jamie Winter. I'm the photo editor of The Observer here. And I've been the editor since fall. I was the assistant editor last spring, and I worked last winter quarter on it, so I've been here for a full calendar year. What we are asking for today is to help fund us to go to a conference in San Diego that will help train our editors and some upcoming editors in the fields that the newspaper has to focus on in writing, reporting, layouts, designs, photos. Some of the things that we are hoping to learn from that is just to bring our newspaper to a new level so we can compete with, in our competitions that we do every year, that we can compete with some of the higher end colleges like that Emerald. We compete with them. They just dropped Emerald Weekly. So the Observer prints about 6,000 copies. It has the potential to reach about 13,000 people. So by investing in this trip for the 4 of us, we have the potential to raise the reputation of our paper by training everybody else when we come back on what we learned. Each person that goes is in a different section, and we'll be learning different parts of the stuff. I'm going for our photo team to learn some of the design things that go along with that. And We have someone going for the sports section and one of the editors going for the scene section as well. And each person has a chance to meet with a professional in their area to help have their work critiqued, find out where they can improve on, and then we're going to bring that back and as a group teach everybody that didn't get a chance to go so we can bring our paper to a new level and make it even better than what it is right now. And so we are asking for a little bit of money, but the students are planning to contribute $50 each. And that pays for us to fly down there, for us to stay at the hotels and go to a conference for 4 days and then come back.
And students are also providing meals.
We're also providing our own meals, yes. And we did a similar event last year and we asked for quite a bit more and we tried to take 8 people and so we've considerably cut back this year. So that way it's a little bit more reasonable for you guys to hopefully approve.
Do you want to open up for questions now? So we would have any questions? Miles?
Okay, so maybe I didn't hear this, but what's the breakdown of the $2,197? What's the breakdown of that?
I thought, usually you all put the budget up on the screen, I was expecting you all to do that.
Yeah, we don't have our computers today.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, I said it on my
I didn't get that piece of
table,
paper.
papers, I think, Chris.
There's a,
We did make photocopies of this, so for those who didn't hear that.
Sorry. Yeah, we can scratch that question.
So we have our registration fees and the money we're asking for pays for the hotel, the flight down, the registration fees to go and attend all the conferences, well, not all, but the ones that were pertaining to our sections.
We're trying to be mindful of our request last year where we did ask for a considerable amount more and you all didn't really want to do that much. And so we're like, okay, we'll strip it down to the minimum. Who's going to be here the longest? Who's going to benefit the most? So everybody going is going to be here at least through next year. A couple of students are going to be here through next year. I'm typing up the drum the advisors. And I'm a constant between the requests from you.
Are you're Cynthia?
Yeah.
You're more welcome to come up here too if you'd like to.
I'm fine, you know.
Okay. All right.
Whatever. I can stand in the front of the room if you want me to.
Okay.
Jacob, question.
Yeah, Ashley.
Thanks for coming in today. It sounds like a great program. I'm interested about the Observer ad sales. You have $600 listed. Are those, is that projected revenue or money that you've already earned?
We've already earned that. We had basically, our business manager we conducted a kind of an extra incentive campaign in the fall that say, these conferences are so valuable. And the groups that fund us always want to see how much we can contribute. So we wanted the Observer to be putting in, a good chunk of skin in the game. So we had an extra push on ad sales. We were able to make that much over and above what we needed to print the paper and distribute the paper. Because most of our ad sales do go to just the production and getting it out free to students and all that. So that's what that's from. And then the students are contributing, the cash towards registration. Right. My hotel's not in, I don't have, I'm the advisor, but I'm not asking for, a hotel room. I'm not asking for meals. I'm, able to help get down there.
Any further questions from the board?
I had a question. Are any of the students who are going this year, have they been to previous conferences like this?
No, this is a new batch. We really are trying to be conscientious of, people get one awesome shot, and it's a shot in the arm. Students come back so fired up, and so their skills just take a big leap. And we will definitely be cascading it out to the rest of the staff from what people have learned. We'll have special sessions. And I'm like, come learn what we learned, and here's the handouts, and here's the presentation. But we're very mindful of not taking people more than once and taking people around next year for the payoff.
Thank you. Any further questions? Josh?
You said the paper competes in some kind of competition.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate more on what?
So it is called ACP.
Yeah, the people putting on this conference with Associated Collegiate Press, they have the most prestigious awards in the country, kind of the Pulitzer for college journalism, the pacemakers. We were finalists in 2011, 2012. We were the only paper of any size in the Northwest to be finalists. SP, Society of Professional Journalists, has a big college contest in the spring. Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Alaska, Montana. We were third place all around last spring. So we're getting good reputation. I think we do a great job of serving campus. Telling students exactly what they need to know. But you know, it helps recruiting. It helps everything. It helps. This is, to me, these kind of investments. It helps not just those 4 students. The paper gets better. The campus doesn't practice.
Yeah, the reputation of the campus is also along with our paper, especially if we go on a recruiting trip trying to recruit journalists. If we have an award-winning paper, we're more likely to attract more students than if we just have a paper.
We're just putting out a better paper for students.
Derek?
So how many students are going?
4.
Okay. So I see that the hotel expense is for 2 4-person rooms.
2 women and 2 men. I didn't really want to have the girls and boys plug.
Okay, so it's a room that's the size of that's just a standard size room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They have one. The conference rate is just boom, 0 to 4 people, and I'm not quite willing to ask the women and the men to sleep together here, so nobody would understand that.
JD?
So, if I understood what you just said, this is the hotel, this is the conference, like the,
It's a conference hotel. Yeah.
the conference hotel.
Yeah, it's in that building.
Are you required to stay at that hotel?
You're not, but this is usually I act like it's my own money, and I'm usually on hotels.com trying to find cheaper place. It's on this peninsula where it's like resorts. There's not the Days Inn cheaper things down the street. Last year we did that because we didn't get the money we were hoping for, so we tried to go real bargain basement, and it was honestly a little sketchy and scary. Like if you walked out of our hotel in San Francisco and turned right, there were drug addicts and prostitutes and everything going on. And if you turned left, you were okay. But it was, I just kind of, after that experience, I wasn't quite willing to.
I think I went to that place.
Plus I did check out this place where the conference hotel is. There's just not cheap.
No, that's right. That's right.
Does the board have any further questions? Last call, no questions? Robert, any other questions?
I'm kind of curious, where you have the academic senate request, it says while 4 students are going, SAS rules say a student must be officially in the major to get funding, and 2 of the students are not yet in the major. Where did you get that?
That's what I read when I was filling out, when we were looking at the SAS funding, and I don't know if that's how much of a stickler they are about that or not. We're presenting the SAS on Monday.
Okay, I just wanted to that's not exactly true, as long as, because the way it works is, if you have 1 student who's in a major, it qualifies for 1 section of the bylaws, but you don't have to be declared to request money from SAS.
Yeah,
There's
2 of
just
them
that extra
Yeah, 2
step.
of them are sophomores.
So you could have requested money for all, what do you say, 4 people? All 4 people from SAS, but just for future
Okay,
reference.
well, we will, honestly, we'll do that with SAS, but
No, I
I
just
didn't want
wanted
to play it safe because I saw that in the bylaws and I was like,
Well, that's why I figured I'd ask, because I was just kind of curious if someone told you that, or if, but I just wanted to.
Well, when I mentioned it to Sharon, she indicated, oh yeah, that's smart to keep that in mind.
Any further questions from the board? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll vote on this next week.
Okay.
Have a great evening, guys. All right. We'll go to request number 1409, Morelia Documentary, Film and Video Studies is requesting $2,025. You guys have 10 minutes, so you'll have until about 6:16.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, sure. We had a PowerPoint presentation pulled together, but we have it on the computer, so we're just going to have to do it off the iPad, and you guys are going to have to use your imagination. So we are part of the Film and Video Studies program. My name is Kevin O'Donnell.
My name is Seth Longboard, and my name is Joby Layton.
This spring break, so it's going to be March 24th through 30th, thank you. We've been invited from the Secretary of Culture in Morelia, Mexico, to film a feature-length documentary on the YBCC Jazz All-Star Group on their participation in the annual Jazz Ball Music Festival in Morelia, Mexico. We 3 students will be accompanied by the All-Star Group, along with 2 of our own professors, Dr. Ogden and Professor Sanders. On this journey, We will collaborate in an effort to bring this cross-cultural event to the people of Ellensburg as well as the surrounding communities, and hopefully expanding the reach of Central Washington University as an institution.
So the individual benefits for us three are pretty clear. I mean, we get international documentary production experience, and we get credit on IMDb, which not only is a great site to check out your favorite movies, but it's basically the LinkedIn of the film professional network. And we will be on there as production crew members. The course also ties into other courses in the communication department, like intercultural communication classes. And the documentary really serves as a service learning project. We're going into the community, we're recording what's happening with YVCC students, and because of that, we also get networking with other filmmaking professionals down in the area. The film will be submitted into the the Morelia International Film Festival. So we'll meet up with other independent filmmakers from the area. We'll meet up with other filmmaking students.
And not only are we serving our community here by kind of expanding our reach or scope, which we'll talk about later, but also I feel like our experience down there is serving the students from Morelia as well, because we'll be working with other film students down there, and by doing that, we'll be able to learn from each other, as well as do service of filming and documenting this International Jazz Festival for all of the students that participate, the performers, their parents, and anybody else who'd like to watch it to be involved with too. So a lot of people are benefited from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so our itinerary, I'm not sure if you guys have a copy of it with you, but it's very, almost basically identical to this right here. Tuesday, we'll be taking the shuttle off from Central Washington University to SeaTac, and we will be heading out about 11 p.m. on a red-eye flight out of Seattle. The following day, we'll arrive at 1 p.m. in Morelia with transportation from the airport provided by the Sister City organization. And our shuttle to SeaTac, on Tuesday is also provided. I think Ogden is helping us out with that.
Yep.
And so, then anyways, on Wednesday, 5 to 8, we have a rehearsal with the Yakima Morelia Jazz All-Star Group, which will be filming. And then Thursday, another really busy day. Quick 8 a.m. Group breakfast with the team, and then from 10 to 2, workshops at the Conservatorio de la Rosas, and 9 to 2, those also, we'll probably split up into 2 teams. A salsa band performs at local schools, transportation also by festival. At 5 p.m., there's a sound check at the Casa de Cultura at Yakima Morelia Jazz All-Stars, we're doing that as well. And then 8 o'clock, there's another Yakima Morelia Jazz All-Stars performance for the Jazz Bowl in the Casa de Cultura. Friday, we also will be going to the University of Michoacan, which is a pretty big university in Morelia. We'll be doing a sound check and then a concert following that at noon. There's another sound check for the next performance at the same Casa de Cultura. 8 p.m., YVCC, or Yakima Valley Community College, who will be joining us down there, will be, their salsa band will be performing, and then we'll probably try and have a dinner with the performers as well, hosted by
international performers coming in.
Yeah. Then Saturday, that Saturday we'll have potential opportunity to document some local landmarks in the area. We'll have a little bit of off time, and we'll be doing that with the jazz students from Yakima Valley Community College. And then there's a Yakima Valley Jazz All-Star performance in Pátzcuaro, I can't, is our Spanish expert over here?
I'm not a Spanish expert. Yeah, close enough.
All right, close enough. And then 8 p.m. there's one more Jazz Fest performance, and then Sunday we'll be traveling back to Seattle. And here's our budget.
All right, so I have the same budget here as you guys have on your sheets, and this is just basically a quick outline. A lot of these are estimated budgets because we have got them figured out through different organizations actually down in Mexico as well through YVCC. So registration and local travel, including to and from events and around the city of Morelia, estimated at $450, including all three of us, which is completely covered by Sister City Organization, which is an organization within Morelia and Machuca, who have collaborated in an effort to bring us down there. Lodging is completely covered by the Conservatorio de Rosa, which is actually where they house all the international musicians that are coming into the city for the event. So they have offered us, I think, maybe 2 rooms. So 2 of us will be sleeping on the floor, so that's okay. Traveling to and from SeaTac, we have worked a deal with YVCC to actually allow us to get onto their buses. So we estimate that was $150 both ways for all 3 of us. Meals and incidentals are going to pretty much come out of our own pockets. The Conservatorio de Rosa offers us a breakfast each day, but outside of that, any snacks, lunches, dinners, as well as water, because it's going to be very hot down there. Keeping ourselves hydrated, that's going to come straight out of our own pockets, so we just want to put that down there to show you guys that we are contributing to this trip ourselves. And the only thing we're really asking help on is the study abroad processing fee, which is $75 for all of us, all 3 of us. $225 total, and the international airfare, which comes to $1,800 total. So our total request is $2,025. Just a brief coverage of some other things. This is going to be really good for us, not only because we get international experience, but there are also international filmmakers that are going to be down there. And so this really gives us an opportunity to get involved with what they're doing, see how they film the event as professionals, which is great for us. But also, this is a 2-part event. The first part happens down in Morelia, and then a lot of those international musicians actually come up to Yakima in May, and we're going to film that as well. And a part of that is we're going to combine them into one big project, and that's going to go on air here in Ellensburg. It's already going to go into Yakima. We're working on trying to get it into Wenatchee and possibly one other TV station in Seattle, as well as playing down at the International Film Festival in Morelia. So there's a lot of viewership going to be had by this. Sorry?
Guess how about? I'll give you 2 more minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially, we'll be working in Mexico for about 4 days. Over the course of the time, we'll be filming international recognized jazz musicians, and we'll be interacting with a bunch of different students from the area. Not only will we be interacting with all the other students, we'll be interacting with performers and also other instructors from around the world. And essentially, this gives us really just a priceless kind of experience. I mean, it's one thing to just kind of graduate with a portfolio of just some short films that you've done during your college years, but I mean, having international documentary experience on a feature documentary is pretty incredible. And so it'll help us 3 build new relationships beyond the U.S. and also it'll help bring the Central Washington University Film Video Studies program beyond our own borders as well. So, do you guys have any questions for us?
Questions? Sorry?
I have a question about you're going to need a lot of equipment for this trip, I assume. So is
All of the equipment comes from our program right now. Our film video studies is we're all collaborating and put it down with us. Except for possibly sound and lighting will be provided by the University of, I can never pronounce it.
Michoacan.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? No questions? All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, we have one last supplemental funding request number 1410, Operation Stimulus. The College of Business students are requesting $2,708. You guys have the floor for 10 minutes, so I'll give you till about 6:30.
My name is Michael. I'm Senator of Supply Chain Management Association. and my name is Deepak. I'm a faculty member in the College of Business, but I'm representing the students because as we speak, they are in the competition right now. So I'm kind of representing them as I was in charge of prepping the team and getting them in shape for the competition. So essentially, Operation Stimulus is a yearly competition that happens in Denver every year. And Operation Stimulus, the sponsor for this competition is a group called the Denver Transportation Club. There are 17 schools that participate in this competition, and this year the competition is against University of UPenn, Arizona State, Michigan State University, the University of Manitoba, and University of Arkansas. So it's a bunch of logistics supply chain schools that are competing for this competition, and it happens every year. This is the 5th time that the Central Washington University is actually representing itself in this competition. In the past years, 2 years back, our team came in 3rd in this competition. It actually helped increase the awareness. Last year, our team came in with the 2nd highest points in the competition. They changed the structure a little bit, so the points were being counted. So we came in 2nd highest against the traditional big supply chain schools. And our team actually impressed the keynote speaker to such an extent last year that he actually mentioned Central Washington in his keynote address. So that was a nice, neat thing. So this year, 5 of our students from the College of Business have gone to this competition along with the faculty member. The faculty member is paying for his trip from his own funds. So the request for funding is essentially for the students itself. So the 3 male students and 2 female students. So all the 3 male students are going to be staying in the same room, and the 2 female students, they're going to be staying in a separate room all by themselves. A little bit more about the competition. The competition is essentially a 3-day affair. So on the first day, which happens to be tomorrow, they're going to be given a case. They've already been given a case study. They're going to be presenting their findings from the case, and then they're going to go through a couple of different panels, present their case findings. And after that's done, sometime in the evening, it's going to be a network night. So they're going to have an opportunity to interact with potential employees and employees that they're trying to bring to our university to kind of recruit students from the College of Business. Then tomorrow, the competition has something called a Houston case in the case study. So for example, the case is so last year the case was all about how do you distribute medicines in Nicaragua when there's an earthquake happening. So the twist last year was, along with the earthquake, now there's a volcano. So what do you do? So it enables the students to think out of the box and to think quick on their feet and to come up with solutions. And the panels that are judging the case are actually people who have given the case and represent the company that's facing the problem, along with several logistics providers. So they are the people who are actually judging the competition. So tomorrow, so on the 7th evening, they're also going to network with the industry folks, and they're going to have, and that's mandatory, so it's not like they can skip out on some of these meetings which are held after the competition is. And on 8th, it's kind of a fun thing where they're asked to go on all the ski trip and all that, but it's mandatory, so they have to go even if they don't want to. The idea being, how do you interact with your peers from other institutions, and how do you interact with industry folks that are going to recruit you into the future. So even though it looks like a fun trip, I can assure you that they're not going to be eating all the good stuff over there, because they're just going to have butterflies in their stomach. So the funding is essentially for this 3-day Operation Stimulus competition, and it includes the lodging, the hotel, and the airfare, and the registration fees. All the incidentals will be taken care of by themselves through the Supply Chain Management Institute, which is a center under the College of Business. So with that, I'm open to any questions.
Does the board have any questions? Connie?
I heard a lot in the presentation about how this is basically benefiting those that are attending through their interaction with companies, solving company problems, interacting with possible recruiters, etc. How is this benefiting the university as a whole?
Okay, one of the things is that this is a university-wide competition. So when people think of the College of Business, normally they don't equate Central Washington with the big schools like UPenn, Arizona, University of Michigan. This is one place where we get an opportunity to showcase our talent from the school. And one of the repeated things that we've heard back from the competition, and some of the folks there have actually started coming into our career fairs and have actually started talking to our students. So for a big thing from those kind of competitions is it's raised the visibility of the university itself in the area of supply chain and logistics, and it's actually helped in the recruitment process of the students.
It also is, if we win, it doesn't say the students individually, it says University of Washington. So it'll show us the name with all the top schools. If we won first place this year, it'll say Central Washington University of the Business. So it just gives overall recognition to the World College of Business.
Any additional questions from the board? Derek?
Yeah, so I'm curious why we're hearing about this now if they're doing it now. Is it because it just took time to assemble it, or?
The funding part of it?
Well, yeah, typically we hear kind of in advance.
Yeah, I mean, as far as funding is concerned, the problem is this competition tends to give, they tend to give the case 15 days prior to the actual competition. So the first time we actually heard about this is 15th, and we needed to give the names right before that. So we had an internal competition in the College of Business to kind of select the teams. So that was a bit of an issue, trying to put the team together, and then the whole thing was on trying to solve the case and then come in for this. But last year, for example, we had a benefactor as one of our students picked up the bill for everything else. So this year we don't have that option.
So what you're saying is that this is something that really wasn't anticipated that you would be going to until you found out.
No, we knew we would be going, but we didn't know who would be representing CWB.
Okay.
So that was.
Is there any additional questions, JD?
So from what I gathered from your presentation, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only educational aspect out of this trip would potentially be the networking time where they get to speak and like learn and pick up some tricks and pick the brains of these other professionals. Is that correct?
I mean, yes. I mean, the educational thing, the College of Business, the main thing would be how do you sell your university to potential employers, because there are going to be tons of them out there. And the second part is how do you kind of raise the profile? I mean, those are in addition to the personal benefits of how do you network, how do you get the pick of the jobs out there. I mean, that's a side thing. But it helps the students, definitely, but it also increases the profile of a program and also the university.
Is there any additional questions from the board?
Take another question.
Okay, John, JD, Ashley.
Yes, I have a question. Can you tell us a little bit about the work the students do outside of class to prepare for an event like this?
Yeah, so one of the things as far as this competition is concerned is as soon as they are given the case, they are not supposed to speak to any of the faculty members involved in teaching. They're not supposed to speak to any of the industry experts out there. All the research has to be via textbooks, library resources, and everything else. So what I know, and so I was off communication with them once they got this case. So the only thing I knew was that they spent approximately 4 hours every second day in the library trying to prepare for this case, because that's the only resource that they had, and the internet. So other than that, there was no other resource. So that's the kind of commitment that they put into it. And we raised the bar by saying you have to bring the prize home.
Is there any, JD and then Ashley?
Okay. Question on that.
Ashley?
Could you speak to the class standings of the 5 students attending and where they are in college, please?
Yeah, so the class standing, I think 2 of them are seniors and 3 of them are juniors. Yeah, the 2 of them are seniors and 3 of them are juniors, and I would have loved to have freshmen and sophomore, but unfortunately in College of Business, I don't get to see them till their junior year. So.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from the board? John?
I have one more quick question. You mentioned in response to an earlier question that you did not know until very recently which students would go. But can you tell us how long ago did you know that a team would go?
I mean, right now I know that I'll be going next year too, but the whole problem comes as in the reason the timing is off, and why don't we select the team a little bit in advance, right? So the idea, so sometime in November there's a Boeing case competition. So one of the incentives that we give to students winning the Boeing case competition is that you would be representing CWU for this specific case competition. So this year it so happened that 4 of the 5 students that won the Boeing case competition for CWU, and they were kind of competing with UW, Portland State, Western Washington, and other schools for the Northwest region. 4 of them dropped out. And they communicated it to me at least sometime in December when we were on a break. So I had to get another team ready in January. So that's why I didn't know who was going to come back and who was going to be representing us.
I'd like to recognize the gallery. Rich?
Is there any benefit or opportunity to come back and share with current students about this experience and help educate for future teams and other processes?
Absolutely. For example, I teach introductory core class, which everyone, regardless of the major, they have to take this class. So one of the things that I do is ask the team that goes for these competitions to come back and present their findings into this competition. And another thing I have is to prep for the next year's class, I have at least one of them to come back and speak about their experience and what can be done to better prepare the next team that's going into this competition. So that's something that we do.
Sarah?
I have a couple questions, and you might have already said this, but what is the expense that the SCMI is covering with the $500?
SCMI, those are the discretionary funds from SCMI. So, the way that last year what we did is we just told the students, this is what we have, what we can give you. You find the rest of the money. So this year the students kind of, the $500 is pretty much, for this year, it's going to cover things which are over and above. So for example, they listed out I think $1,000 for $1,200 for airfare and $1,000 for hotel. But the whole thing, last when I saw the budget, it's actually more than what's being requested out here. The actual thing is going to come up much more than what's being requested out here. So that 500 is going to cover everything else that's not going to be coming from this approval process.
Because the total expenses was listed as 3208, but the anticipated expenses add up to the amount that you're requesting.
27.
So I just fill in another
all the
line item
incidentals, like eating and all that kind of thing.
Okay. Can I go ahead with my second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious why you haven't requested funds from SAS, or are you planning on requesting funds from SAS?
I'll have to ask the students because I got drafted in 3 days back when they said, we are flying out, you go and present. All right, thanks. But that's the same question that I asked them when I read this thing. And they said that something to do with paperwork, and then they didn't have enough time to fill it in on time. So
SAS requirements require, Robert knows, 14 days or something?
The way SAS works is we're in the process of changing our funding rules right now, so they're kind of in the air. But the way it currently works is you have to get your packet, and when you fill out your whole packet, because there's travel involved, they have to get a travel authorization form. So if you do it, I don't know if SAS has the online form up and running. I know you can kind of do it something like that, but that could take some time. I did get wind of this last Thursday at our SAS meeting, and I sent them the packet via email, so they would have had 1 day to fill it out, because we had our executive board meetings on Monday. But the way it works is once your packet is complete, it has to be completely filled out, which includes travel authorization, medical waivers, liability waivers, with 5 students going, so you need 5 of those. And then you have to have it in no less than 3 days prior to an executive board meeting, so that would have been Wednesday.
And they didn't meet until Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why. Any additional questions from the board? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll vote on this next week.
This guy's the same thing. Sarah stole my question.
Move on to section 9, new business. Seeing that there is no new business, we move on to section 10, other business. Communications received. Seeing that I have no communications, we'll move on to section 11, public comment, second call. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So moved.
Sorry, Ashley, Miles beat you to it.
Yes.
Is that a second from Connie?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, guys, at 6:35 p.m.